Happy Wine Wednesday, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. It's open
Oh,
chat
I forgot
again
my water.
tonight. Oh,
Uh-oh.
no, well, it's open chat again tonight. So any questions, we'll answer them. Feel free to ask them whenever you want. Even if we're on a different topic, we'll circle back to them. I'm drinking some apple juice. Ray, you said you forgot your water, and Kelly, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking water.
Just water. Yeah. That's generally what I'm drinking, but
I'm
we
eating
need
crunchies.
Kelly back with her wine.
I'm eating crunchies. When I eat something, I don't know what it is, but it seems to mitigate the pain a bit.
Uh-huh.
So I have problems with weight just because I'm in pain all the time and want to eat all the time.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a vicious circle.
Yeah, it
yeah.
is.
I
Uh,
wonder if it actually helps with anything though. Like how would that work?
Well, I'm not sure, but then again, when it comes to pain, there's a lot of things that I don't understand. Um, for instance, why can I stand in the shower with the hot water on my head and not feel any pain?
Well, that helps with the muscles and stuff. I would just I know it helps warm
It doesn't
water.
matter if it's a headache or my spine, um, my feet, my knees, shoulder, torn rotator cuff, any of those things, it helps.
yeah,
Yeah.
I took a hot bath today for that reason because my arthritis in my knee is acting up today because of the cold, cloudy weather. So I jumped in a hot bath and that helped. So
I never tried a
I
bath.
hear that. Although when I eat and I gain weight, then that causes pain because it causes my discs to compress and,
Oh,
and inflammation and stuff. So it's a vicious cycle. I like to eat too, Ray.
oh. You
Well,
guys
my
make me
doctor just
excited to get
figures
older.
that my mind thinks about the eating and it's deflecting
It takes, yeah, it takes your
some of
mind off.
the feeling from the
Okay.
pain. The pain's
All
still
right.
there, but I just don't notice it
You
as
don't
much.
notice it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, with all these stories, I'm looking forward to getting older.
It ain't
Well,
for sissies.
yeah.
Mine didn't start till I was 35.
35.
Well,
Okay, well, I
mine
will.
only just started and I'm 55, so
All right. Well,
you may
In
have
since then, I've shrunk over 4 inches. That's because the spine has just
uh-huh.
deteriorated.
yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, that's not good. Um. Anyways, getting back onto seahorses. For anyone new watching, we do talk about seahorses mostly, but if we have nothing else to talk about, we
We'll talk
just
about
talk about
whatever.
our own private life.
Yeah. So
Um,
on the subject of eating, while we're
mhm.
there, I can tell I have an update on Dandy has finally decided to stop eating, I think.
um,
So within the last few days, I think I've been working a lot, but thinking back, I think probably his last meal was on Saturday, I want to say. So,
oh, how
so yeah.
long would
Is he
you?
still acting the same?
No, because he's not sitting up as much. He's laying down now, kind of like Princess is doing.
Yeah.
So he decided to go lay down next to her about the time that he stopped eating. And once he started doing that, it was like he decided to join her in her pursuit of death, I guess you could say. So anyway, he's moved. I cleaned the tank today, and so I moved the seahorses out of the way, the ones that are passing him and Princess so that they wouldn't get washed away when I poured the water in. And then after I put all the decorations back, I put him back at his favorite hitch, and he decided to hitch there. And he seemed, he wasn't just laying flat anymore. He hitched, but he had no interest in coming to eat still. So I don't really expect him to. And Princess has been laying down for months now, since before Sadie stopped eating.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, unfortunately, their lifespans aren't near what ours are.
yeah, but I don't know. That might be fortunate, Ray.
Why is that?
Because they are a lot of work.
Oh,
It's kind of
well,
like the
what
other
you mean is
kind
it's
of like
fortunate.
the other day. I was in the pet store, and they had these tiny little turtles that were so cute.
Oh my God, those
And
last so long.
I wanted one. It was so cute, but I didn't get it. I came home and I researched it, and those little turtles live for 50 years. And
Oh my God, those are
I was
crazy.
like, oh,
And
yeah,
talk about dirty. Turtles
yeah,
are filthy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, taking care of that, yeah. But
Yeah,
no,
I
I
would say I
want
think if they lived
horses
50
to live
years,
longer, but maybe not as long as me.
I think if seahorses lived like 50 years, there would be no hobbyists. Because that's a really long commitment.
hmm
Well, but the thing
Some
is,
fish do
if,
live a
if
long
they
time.
could live 50
Brown
years,
fish
it would
live a
mean that
long
they're
time.
not affected so much by the diseases and that we would have a much easier task.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
Yeah. Would you say they die mostly from like diseases, not old age?
In the hobby, yes, but
I'd
with
say
someone experienced, no.
Wait, so in the hobby, they do die from diseases, or
Yeah,
they die
but
from?
it's
Mhm.
because the majority of people keeping them in the hobby don't know what all
Oh,
it takes
okay.
in order
Yeah,
to keep
Mhm.
them from getting those diseases.
yeah. Would you say, but hollies are dying from old age now?
I would
Yep.
say probably a combination. Well, I think that the disease can come on at a late stage in life too, because my thoughts are that they probably have bacterial infections,
Oh,
and they may have been healthy enough to fight it off for a long time. I mean, honestly, I don't know how long they would live if they stayed really healthy.
I
yeah.
don't think that's something that anyone knows because it's like the human race. Uh,
Mhm.
there's people that can stay healthy all their life and die early. There's people like
Mhm.
me that aren't healthy, and I've made it to 82.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
right.
Dandy, I would never say that he was healthy. He's always had something wrong with him, but he also outlasted many other seahorses I've had. So,
I feel like that's amazing though, because you would definitely not in the wild. Like Dandy would not have lasted. He would
yeah,
have
for
either like
sure.
died or gotten eaten or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but
If
And
same.
we
I
were,
don't know that he's actually sick per se. He may have just given up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they get really old and how long would you say if he doesn't start eating again? Would it be like a month, maybe? That's kind of how
It
long.
varies. I've
no,
seen them go months. I've seen
I've
them go
seen them
3.
go 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I've seen them go 3. I've seen some that only made it a couple weeks after they stopped eating, and I've had others that went 3 months. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh my
hard to say.
God. I find it interesting though that you have to feed them so often throughout the day, yet like they stop eating and they can still last for so long.
Yeah.
Well, the main reason for that is the rudimentary digestive tract. They need to get frequent feedings because they're not in the wild where they can graze all day long. And without getting sufficient nutrient, they can't build up that immune capability to be able to last a long time.
Okay.
So I would say someone that isn't feeding their seahorses as frequent as somebody else, if something goes wrong, those seahorses aren't going to live on as long as what the ones that are getting the more feed.
Yeah.
It's a relative thing. I just wish that we could get some whiz chemist to come up with some way to do testing.
Yeah.
Like even if it's a test for something that isn't dissolved organics, if there's something that is always present and increases as dissolved organics increases that we could test for, then we could use that instead of testing for the dissolved organics. And so whenever X test starts increasing and shows on the test kits that we got a problem with it, we know we got a problem with the dissolved organics.
Yeah,
and
then you know they're
we
present.
can do something that way. But when I was experimenting to get a test for the DO, I was dealing with some of the chemists on Reef Central and what's the other one? It's a popular one now. Can't get it through out of my.
Seahorse.org?
No.
No.
Reef to Reef.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get talking with them, so there were some people that had some thoughts on it, but nothing proved out. So it just the conversation kind of just died out, and nobody's got back to it anymore.
Well, maybe as technology keeps improving, things like that will get easier to research, and we'll finally have people doing that eventually.
Yeah. If Randy Holmes Farley was still younger and on Reef Central, then we probably could come up with something then. He's a scientist, but he was also a reefer, and he was in a big way into reef chemistry.
We need somebody young now just coming up in college to take that on.
Well, the company he was working for got taken over by another company, and so there was a surplus in the needs for his type of work. So he ended up getting another job. He's still a scientist, but he wasn't able to keep on the participation that that he was doing on Reef Central up to that point.
Well, guys, we're looking for a chemist.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, tell Kelly she can get in here because she's probably got thoughts on something we can talk about.
Yeah.
Hey,
Here you are.
There I am.
We're lost when there's no questions and there's no Kelly here.
There's my seahorse. Look, it's matching the seahorse next to him.
Cheers.
Hey guys, so sorry I've been absent. I suck. Working too much, too hard, but I miss all of you and so glad to be here. I have absolutely zero clue what we're talking about thus far.
We missed you too. We were just wishing for new scientists to come along, like the younger crowd that's still in college and figure out the dissolved organics and reef chemistry type stuff.
No, totally. Go ahead.
Could you try leaving and rejoining? Because you
Hang
can
on.
hear the echo.
Am I echoing? Okay, I'll be right back. I promise. I'm here for tonight. I
Okay.
promise.
We will
Here
wait.
I come.
We'll just wait for Kelly because I'm sure she has something to add. And Joey, we will answer your question in a second. We'll just let Kelly come back in because I'm sure she has thoughts. There we go.
Give me a second. I'm going to try to edit it right here while we're live. Am I still echoing?
You sound a lot better.
No, now you sound better, yeah. Well,
Okay.
There's a little bit of an echo, actually, but
yeah.
All right. Is this
Not
better?
yes.
Better
Yeah.
now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just a setting, fun. Okay. So tell me if I'm echoing again or if anything's wrong. But basically, the discussion tonight is we're talking about whether or not we've got upcoming young, brilliant people that are going to help us figure this out.
Yeah, basically. We also got a
We
question.
thought of that, yeah.
Well,
I brought up the fact that back, I think it was a couple of years ago when I was looking for a way and to develop a test kit for it. I was looking for something that would also elevate whenever dissolved organics would elevate, and hoping we could test for that.
Yep.
Or have a test kit developed for that. Fairly simple, because it's not going to be simple to get a test kit developed for dissolved organics.
Well,
But after a period of time with the chemists and wannabe chemists that I was dealing with, things kind of just drifted off, and then no more conversation about it.
I know.
But I wish Randy Holmes Farley was still available
Chucking away.
to
Yes.
participate in something like that, because he was probably the smartest when it came to reef chemistry of anybody that I've come across with.
Sure.
In all the years.
Well, Ray, I remember you and I trying to set something up, trying to do something to figure it out. You came up with different ideas, and it's just really.
Unfortunately, my test works, but it only works when the levels are higher than way higher than what is already problematic.
Right.
But
And
the test did work.
what I just found out is it's really cool, Miss Sophie, that even when we both log in as me, I can still show comments. So that's cool. I see your comment, Joey. Give us just a second.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't letting you in, because I thought you were just going to let yourself in.
Sorry. Maybe I could have. I don't know. But it wasn't letting me. So you're in charge, ma'am. But I want to say really quickly, guys, and I will say it next week when I start next week, hopefully, that Sophie's doing a great job of keeping up in my absence. I hope everybody gives her lots of hearts and follows her on Instagram and says how great she's doing, because I wouldn't want to have been absent for 2 weeks and nobody be here. So she's done an amazing job. Great job, Sophie.
And next week,
yes.
Joey is generally joining us. He couldn't come this week. He will be here next week, though, because he's getting his Seahorses on the weekend. I think it's
this weekend. I remember him saying,
Nice.
The day after his birthday.
All right, Joey.
And you know what? That's my Seahorse's birthday is actually on Saturday.
How funny.
All of them except for Dandy are turning 5 on Saturday, the 25th.
Right. Well, Joey is the same birthday as Kelly. Wait, it is?
Yeah, and I was going to say.
Kelly's Seahorse, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, Holly is so great at keeping this up, because the thing is, I used to name my Seahorses. My Seahorses do have names, the ones I have left. But even when I had Fry, my favorite ones would have names, and they, had birth dates and everything on the calendar and cycles and all. And I'm just so overwhelmed at work that I'm like, y'all want food? I don't care who you are, just take your food. And I suck. I really suck these days. And that's the other reason I wanted to get Sophie involved in kind of helping run this, is because she's still, I don't want to say it that way, because I'm still excited and I still care, but it's just, I just am so overwhelmed right now. So Holly is amazing at making sure that the seahorses stay real, not people, but you know what I mean? Whatever we call it. And Sophie's been great about helping me make sure that we keep this conversation going. So real quick, to jump back to Ray's conversation. I know you've tried everything in the book. I am a little fearful that there isn't enough people interested and people who care to get this done, because there are still new people every day that want to keep seahorses, that want to learn. There's Sophie's, there's Joey's, and that's amazing. But since we don't have anyone at the breeder level anymore, except for a few places that aren't very forthcoming about information, there, like when we had Dan, when we had Alyssa, they were willing to work with these. I mean, Dan was a part of a published, article about some of these things, not exactly the dissolved organics, but I mean,
The
they figured out so
scientific
many things
papers,
because there were, between commercial and hobby level breeders that had the connections and were working with them to get the answers. And now it's just like, we don't really have that anymore. And it's scary to me. I don't know the answer. I hope we do find some up and coming chemists
Well,
or
hopefully
biologists or whatever.
we'll get people coming along. I know I didn't see it. I've been busy with work like you, but it looks like Tyann had a thing about seahorses.
Oh,
And
cool.
I think Phil Martin came on and they did a live thing, and a lot of people were excited about seahorses afterwards. So maybe
Nice.
more people.
Well, hopefully, since they're both our
get
friends,
into
they
that.
mentioned us. Hopefully.
Yeah, I
Probably
don't
not,
know.
but-
I haven't
Hey guys,
watched it.
who's Tyann?
Tank Talk with Tyann. See,
Tank
I
Talk
mentioned
with
her.
Tyann. Yeah.
Tank Talk with Tyann is a great group.
Oh,
Great
yes, I
show.
remember. Yeah.
She's more overall saltwater, which also includes seahorses. She's been on this channel
She does
multiple
all kinds
times.
of stuff.
We share some of the same guests. She's great. Absolutely go check her out.
She goes live often, but I'm always
Yeah.
so busy with work and life that I rarely catch hers. It's
Well,
hard
yeah,
enough for me to be here every week.
Listen, and that's what I'm getting Sophie to. I got her on the channel, guys. I got her to where she's starting it. Now I'm gonna get her to start just doing lives with her seahorses on our channels. But get ready, Sophie. No, okay. I'm not kidding, but anyways, so with Joey, so to end the conversation with Ray, I don't have an answer. I really pray that there are people that will come forward, that will care enough and be more Dan's and Abby's and Ray's and even Kelly's and Holly's back, in the day. We're just all getting busier and getting older, and I mean, it's just, I wish I could go live with my seahorses every day. I used to do it. I used to want to, and I still do want to, but like, I'm seriously, guys, I'm working like 15-hour days. It's insane. Yeah. Hate life, but love the business. So, in a tough predicament, but I still want to promote this and find people who are involved and getting involved and promote them. All right. Finally, Joey, we're going to get to your question. All right. He wants to ask about Purigen. Have you ever used it? It's supposed to be excellent in removing organics. Ray, have you ever used it?
No, I haven't used it, but I used the carbon. That's the closest thing to it.
Okay.
So I don't know what the cost is like of Purigen, however you pronounce it, compared to carbon. I know there are ways to regenerate carbon, but Purigen can be regenerated. I'm not sure too much about whether it removes as many of the dissolved organics that carbon will.
All right.
Carbon will actually take out more organic types of organics than a skimmer will. So the only problem is the cost of carbon is astronomical when you're having to replace it. So the Purigen or Purigen, I'm not, does anyone know how
I
you
think
pronounce
it's
it properly?
Purigen.
Pardon me?
Purigen.
Purigen.
Purigen?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know what its cost is, how many times you can regenerate it. And I haven't seen any statistics on how many or how much of the dissolved organics it will remove. I know it does remove dissolved organics, and I suspect it's probably going to remove as many as carbon, but it's something I
More.
don't know.
But go ahead.
So,
All right.
uh,
I'm letting everybody else answer before me. Did you have something else, Ray? I'm sorry.
a skimmer is more expensive to buy up front, but in the long run, it's the cheaper way to go for the dissolved organics. And
So why do you say it's
um,
cheaper? Do you mean like long term because it's
Because
removing
you don't
more?
have to keep
yeah,
replacing
because
it.
the Purigen or the carbon, you're having to replace it. Even the Purigen, I believe it's got a limited number of times that you can renew it. So you're going to have to replace it at some point. Now, a skimmer, it costs a lot to buy the thing, but once you've bought it, as long as you look after it properly, then you've got it. And
Okay. I want
you
to
keep on
argue
working.
that point because every skimmer I've ever had, I've had trouble with the adjustments and it acting wacky after so long. But that could be just me. I
Nope,
agree with your
that's
point
me too.
overall, but
I was gonna say that's mine, but it's not the skimmer. It's me figuring out how
you're
to
right.
get my adjustments right. It works
So you have to be
fine.
good at DIY.
Well, maybe
and-
I'm tempered by the fact that I built mine, so I didn't have to muck around with them.
You're just good at figuring stuff out, Ray.
He is. He really is. Sophie, real quick, any thoughts on Purigen? Have you used it?
No, I have not used it. I'm learning about it right now.
Gotcha. And I know you do have to go early, so just let us know when you have to go. Holly, have you used it?
Never tried
I have. So glad I came to this episode.
it.
So I use Purigen in every single tank. Love the stuff. It's to me like, so if anybody said to me, Kelly, I'm setting up a Seahorse tank, what's the key things as far as filtration? I would say skimmer, Purigen, K1. Those are my three go-tos for overall making sure that you have enough filtration for your tank. And of course, you know, the socks and everything, but I use the Purigen as my, it's not chemical filtration. I don't think it's considered, maybe it is. It is.
It's
Okay.
chemical.
All right. So Purigen's my chemical filtration. Skimmer's my mechanical, correct? And then I personally use Rock and K1 as my biological. So I've got all three areas covered. The Purigen is awesome. It's regeneratable. Is that a word?
Yeah.
You can regenerate it.
Regenerable. Well, the
Regenerable.
advantage you have too, by having the skimmer as well, then you're not using up the Purigen so fast.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And the Purigen, the other thing I like about it is it's just like a DI resin. It changes color. You can tell when it needs to be regenerated. Like you can tell. I'm sure I have pictures somewhere. I can try to dig them
So
up.
how do you use it? Does it go inside of something, or what is it
It's
like?
Like a
just
carbon
like
reactor.
carbon. I've thrown it in a sock. That was my number one in the all-in-one. In the all-in-one tank,
Mhm.
so in my all-in-one tank, I'm trying to show that people can keep seahorses without a sump. I absolutely prefer sump. If you're doing a seahorse tank, I recommend a sump. But if you can't for whatever reason, or you're just not gonna, then if you have the all-in-one tank, you're already dealing with a skimmer that's probably not rated high enough because we like them to be, really high rated in order to compensate for seahorses. So you can't fit a skimmer like that in an all-in-one.
Mhm.
Then I'm using the Robert King chamber usually in the tank. I don't use those in all my tanks, but I use them in my all-in-one because I'm trying to overcompensate for not having a sump and more room to do filtration. So I've got a little skimmer, the Robert King chamber, then I've got rock in there. I've got a K1 media reactor, which if you need to know about that, I can explain that too. But then I will have inside my sock, which is on both sides of the all-in-one, Purigen, because I just set it in the sock and that allows the water to run through it. But you could put it like anywhere. I mean, it's
The only
if you
problem
have
with us
a
is,
filter kind of, if you have one of the tanks with, what do you call it, like a hang on the back filter, you can put it in there. Anything that water's going to flow through so that so it can take up the organics, just like a skimmer or carbon or whatever.
if you can
Just
put
the
it in
same
the
way.
So like
reactor,
inside the quick filter then too. Because it's got like a column and I put pads around it, but it's got a column with holes that you can
Yeah.
put
Oh,
charcoal
yes.
in, so it can
Yes.
go in there.
that's
Yes.
better than a sock, because the sock is just allowing passive motion, unless you're going to put the
Right.
sock over the end of the overflow. But
Mhm.
there is no overflow on an all-in-one. So just passive
Right.
operation, though, is not
Mhm.
going to be anywhere near as good as water going through it. Like, you can use a carbon reactor and you can put the Purigen in there,
Yes,
Mhm.
you could.
or Holly could put them in the center of the quick filter on the far ends.
And I'll tell you, in my sumps, I've literally just thrown one in the middle section, thrown
Mhm.
it in. Again, as Ray said, that's not as efficient as if you have a system that's moving water through it more aggressively than it
Mhm.
just sitting there. But
Mhm.
it just sitting there is taking up organics, right?
Mhm.
So totally agree, Ray. You can do it in ways that are more efficient, but I absolutely recommend Purigen. It's a great product. You were saying something about the price, Ray. I don't even know what carbon costs anymore. But with Purigen, it's like $10 for a small one. Depends on how big your tank is, of course.
And then how
Because I
long
think
does it last? Like how often do you replace it?
So
Or
how
what?
I've
many
had
times can you regenerate it?
until it won't regenerate. So when you regenerate Purigen, you use bleach and it's a color thing. You can see that it's
The
too
color.
dirty. Like, okay, so let me back up. Because that's not really correct. To be correct, they recommend regenerating it so often. And then there's a policy on, how many months and all that good stuff. I'm just telling you the real deal from me, the way I do it is
Mhm.
when it starts graying or looking brownish,
Mhm.
I'll watch it. If I see levels start to spike or algae start to grow or something like that, then I'm like, okay, get it. If nothing's happening and it's just tinted, leave it for a minute. But then when it starts getting darker, then you pull it out. There's a whole regeneration process with bleach. And then it does shorten the lifespan. So let's say you buy Purigen, a pack of Purigen. And again, depends on your tank size. So if you buy 2 or 3, it's going to last longer, right? But it's just, I really think of it just like DI resin because it starts to darken as it goes bad. If you got 2 or 3 of them, you could
You
either
rotate.
reuse them or
Mhm.
whatnot. But I'm going to answer. I know I ramble. I'm sorry. I'm getting there. So you regenerate it, and every time you regenerate it, it lasts less time. And
Okay.
I'm just being honest. So first time it's going to last you 3 to 6 months, say, and then it's dark. It's looking rough. You use the bleach to regenerate it. Next time it's only going to last 5 months or 4
Mhm.
months. And then it does boil down, but you're talking over a year,
Mhm.
easy.
Mhm.
Did I
And
answer the question?
I'm going, one sec, just before you guys continue, I'm going to head out now.
Okay.
All right.
Hey,
well, have a
again,
good night.
Sophie, you're amazing for keeping this going, and
Yeah.
we'll talk on the
Yeah.
side about next week for sure.
Okay. All
Have a good night.
All right.
No worries.
Bye. See you guys.
Bye.
And to be honest, guys, I can't go all night like I used to. So any questions out there, shoot them out while we're here.
Yeah.
Bonnie said, sorry, did we want to say anything else about Purigen? I'm sorry.
No, but that's good to know. I might want to try it for the seahorses I have left. I was just saying before you came on, Dandy has finally decided to stop eating also.
Aw.
So now I'm in the process of losing him and Princess both, and that'll leave me with
Oh, I'm so sorry.
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Plus, I think Saturday was his last meal, and he just decided he wanted to be with Princess. He started laying down next to her because she's passing, and he'd spend time with her. And then he's like, maybe I don't eat anymore either. I don't know, but yeah. So that's where I'm at with them.
That part's hard and sucks, and I hate it.
Yeah, it is.
But you had joyous years with them.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's been years. Yeah, he's almost 7, not quite 7. So
that's
he's
a
up
good
there,
life.
and everybody else turns 5 on Saturday. So they're all 5 years old.
Amazing. I mean, what a good job. Seriously. I mean, how many people keep any fish alive that long? I just think you're doing great. You said Teresa is also selling her seahorses now, Erectus.
Mm-hmm.
We need to wait. What are you sharing, Ray?
This is Purigen price in Canada here.
Oh my God. Oh, well, no. So here's the thing.
Is it different?
Is that a gallon or something?
No, that's 2 cups.
2 cups? Holy crap. I haven't had to buy it in a while, but I'm looking it up here
Well,
because
put it
I
in
promise
perspective.
I was
you.
gonna say, last time that we looked up salt or something, there it was way more than ours. So maybe Canada, it's a lot different.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
I've never looked at it personally, so
the ones I usually buy, I'm trying to find.
See, 500 milliliters is half of a liter, and in your U.S. gallons, there are 3.78 or 3.79 liters.
Okay, well let me show you this. I'm going to stop your sharing real quick.
Here's 100 milliliters for $10, so that's similar. Because if you had times 5.
Oh shit! If I can even find it, I've got so many things open. Sorry, guys, hang on.
Yeah,
okay, so when you're looking at this, okay, first of all, if you're can you see what I'm showing you?
Yeah.
All right. So if you buy Purigen like this or like this, the picture that you showed, it's going to come like this, and you have to contain it. The way I buy it is like this, where it's like 100 milliliters in like an encasing that has small enough holes to allow the water to come through, but it's not going to allow the Purigen to be released. And you see how white it is.
It's like in a bag, yeah.
Yes. And then you see how white it is, and then look, pulling it out of his. See how brown it is?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
what happens.
There's a good representation right there. How to regenerate Purigen right there. And it starts like this, goes to this. You're like, eh. And if you've got backups, you put a backup in, whatever. It gets to that, you're in trouble. You've taken too long, but you can still regenerate it and make it look like this again. But it ends up every time you regenerate it looking more like this, if that makes sense. But it's still, I love it. I love it. I've used it since.
That costs you about $10.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to find that too. Well, look at the prices. Look right here. 9.
Yeah, 15. That's for 100 milliliters though. So there's 3 packs of 100 milliliters on Amazon for $33. So the one that Ray was looking at that was $50 was 500 milliliters. So that's
what I'm saying. He's looking at a big old container.
All you have to do is have a sock or
a
what
media
we call
bag to put it in,
a
huh?
media bag that can put this in, and the price would still be similar, $10, just
Yeah,
over
it's pretty much
$10
the
per
same.
100 milliliters here in Canada.
Right. But I don't know about a sock.
Well, it has to be really fine mesh,
Yeah, it would
right?
go
Because it's
through it.
like a
It's
powder.
tiny.
It's like a powder.
It is.
Ah,
It's not a powder. It's like little
but not
Granules.
much bigger,
tiny
like
tiny
micro
beads.
pellets. Yeah,
Pellets.
micro
Yes, that's
pellets.
a good way. But
More
yeah, I
like a
wouldn't
salt or larger than salt.
like salt.
Like salt. Okay.
Yeah.
Then many of the media bags will work, especially the ones that I use.
Sure, if you
That
can
I've used
find one,
around
yeah.
here.
Yeah. I think they even sell them. Sell bags to contain Purigen. I'm just saying I'm
Put it in the
lazy and
toe of a
simple.
pantyhose.
So I wouldn't trust pantyhose.
That will work too.
I wouldn't trust pantyhose because if they
Well, you couldn't
stretch,
see it.
I mean, it depends on where you're putting it. It really does. Like if you're just dropping it in somewhere cool, but if you're trying to put it in an aggressive where water's going to flow through it, I could see the pantyhose stretching and that's the other thing about Purigen. Man, Purigen's so great. It's not only used for dissolved organics, but it's also something where it protects from ammonia and all that other crap. And the thing
Huh.
is, I don't want to misquote myself. I'm pretty sure. Let me look that up real quick. But I'm pretty sure. And the thing is, it's not dangerous. So if it did explode all over the tank, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not like you have to worry about getting every simple piece. Now I'm about to look this up because I might be confusing it with
It
Prime.
says
Hang on.
it removes hard to remove
It
nitrogen
doesn't remove ammonia.
compounds.
No, you know what it is? It's I think it's metals. That's what I'm thinking of. I really do use this, guys. It's just been a long time since I had to buy it or had to,
Yeah, I've
explain it or
never
explore
tried it. I guess it's probably a little late in the game for me to start, but
Right, but it's still a good thing to talk about and let other people know about.
Well,
yeah.
if it's a
Um,
deionizer as well, then it will remove some metals.
I think so. I think it
Okay,
does.
I was wrong. Let me correct myself. Purigen does not directly remove ammonia. It removes the organic waste that would otherwise break down
Yeah,
into ammonia. Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Prime.
It says nitrogenous compounds, so
Sure,
nitrogen type stuff.
sure. So I'm glad I corrected myself. But I mean, it's like one of the other things. Like again, guys, we want to help every single new person, right? And we want to help you get it right. And if I double second guess myself, I'm going to go figure it out. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to go ask somebody else to make sure you get the right answer. But all I can really give you is my experiences, right? And in my experience, I told you my top 4: skimmer, pure. And I don't really talk about Purigen that much because it was really a thing that I started with freshwater. And then I used it like in my lionfish tank and my reef and my etc. And I do use it in my seahorse tanks, but I guess I just never like hone in on it because to me, the skimmer and making sure you have, a lot of socks and mechanical, and then making sure you cover the biological with like K1 or rock or whatnot is like not more important is not a good way to put it, but the most important. And then like the Purigen is like an afterthought to me, but it's I compare Purigen to a Robert King char chamber. I think both are amazing and awesome and can make a very successful seahorse tank. But if you're talking about necessities, neither one is like a necessity. But if you want to have an easier tank to take care of, you should have both, in my opinion. Enough said? Enough said. All right.
The way I look at it, anyone that is able to keep them long term, whatever methods that they are using, are worth others considering.
Yeah. What else is going on, guys? I missed the past 2 weeks. What did I miss? Yeah. they're both like,
Oh,
my God,
not
I
too
can't
much.
follow that.
Really?
You're asking the guy with cognitive impairment what was it?
And the lady who
Well, we
so
had
busy at
Joey
work.
came
I got it.
on. Joey was talking about his setup, because he's got his seahorses coming, and he
Well,
had
he was talking about all
Yeah.
his other involvements.
Yeah, he has a beautiful freshwater tank that he had behind him. So, yeah, looking forward
Awesome.
to seeing what he's going to do with the seahorses. That'll be really cool.
Well, I am so
And it wasn't just freshwater. I think he's been involved
He
with
has reef too. Hmm.
yeah. Well, I'm
he's been
so
involved
bummed
with
out.
geckos and
Oh
No,
yeah, all
no
kinds
kidding.
of
a lot
all
of the stuff
kinds of
that Sophie's-
animals.
a lot
Sophie
of the
too.
stuff that Sophie's into.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
reptiles.
I'm jealous. I have a new pet snake. He's
Ah.
not a pet. He's in my yard, but he's eating the mice. So, I'm trying to feed his butt.
And I've pet mice.
Ooh,
My son's
oof.
snakes are all 10 to 15 feet.
What?
Yeah, his tanks are
Yeah.
huge ones, but he gets them out of the tank and lets them run around the house, and then picks
Uh-huh.
them up, lets them curl around him.
Wait, who?
Yeah. Scott used to have boas.
Wait,
Yeah.
who does that, Ray?
My son.
Oh my God.
Scott used to breed boas before I met him. He had boa constrictors.
I mean, to me, it's like, oh my gosh. But a lot of people think, oh my gosh, you keep seahorses? So it is what it is.
I like
and I'm
snakes.
not
My
afraid
daughter
of
that-
I have a hard time feeding them.
I'm
but
My
more
daughter that's
afraid of.
involved in rescue, she got into, oh Jesus, I can't get what it out. They're like crocodiles. They get fairly big, but they start off real small. But she used to, when she'd go off to work, she'd lock them in the bathroom. She'd fill up the tub with water, and they could get up and crawl into the water, and they could crawl out, just lay on the floor. She had heat set up there.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Just put a sign on the door of the bathroom so nobody
Yeah.
gets surprised when they go in there.
My luck is I'd come to visit and I'd be like, I'm gonna take a bath, and oh god, no. But
But her dogs are all rescues. Like one is totally blind from birth. Another one has urinary tract infection and has to have diapers. And the third one has a carriage because the hindquarters are like no feeling in them. They can't use.
Sure.
So paralyzed. But that's the type of animals she'll take on because nobody else wants them.
What a lovely person, seriously, to do that for animals. Hey, real quick, Tara said Purigen works really well. It does help with dissolved organics, and DOC doesn't mean you can skimp on water changes. Great point.
Mhm.
Tara, I would love, do we know Tara or is she new?
She's another Canadian.
Okay. Canadians, we love them. Tara, I would love to talk to you on the side or love for you to jump in a Wine Wednesday because I would love, it sounds like you know what you're talking about, and I would love to have a one-on-one with someone who's like, it's water changes all the way, because I'm the guy or the girl on the other side that's saying, listen, if I have 100 ways to make me do less, I'm going to do those 100 ways and make it easier on myself. I do not disagree with you in any way, shape, or form. You are right. You have to do water changes for sure. But would you agree that you can do less if you're using things like skimmers, Purigen, maybe carbon like Ray, K1 and that kind of stuff, because in my experience, that's been the case. So yes, you always have to do water changes. You can't just let water sit with seahorses. No, 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 never.
So the way I look at it, the Purigen isn't going to take out any more DOs than carbon does. So it's a case of if you've used carbon and know what level of water changes you need to be successful, then do the same with the Purigen.
I really believe that Purigen. Go ahead.
If you haven't got a skimmer and if you don't use carbon, then yes, you will be able to cut back a little bit, but it's there's no way to measure how much you can cut back. It's again, it's like the rest of us learning about what level maintenance we need on each of our systems, because no two systems are the same. We can't tell somebody, well, you do X gallons of water in a certain number of days. You can't do that, but you can't do that with the Purigen either. So it's a case of finding that level, being observant enough to know when to do something about it, because it's not sufficient what you're doing now.
Agreed. Observancy or being observant is the key. Like, you have to learn your tank before you start messing with it or trying to experiment. And in that case, I'm right on board with Tara. Absolutely, start with the major water changes and don't change that, until you know your tank and know your seahorses enough to figure out that, okay, I know when there's a problem, right? Totally agree.
I like the way she words it, though. I think that it's a safe way she can say it, and not giving the impression that someone could use Purigen and all of a sudden cut away back on. So she says it quite well.
I agree. I agree. I hope you don't feel that I called you out. I liked the comment. I mean, I think it's a good comment, because you're absolutely right. And I can go on and on about whatever product or whatever sump or whatever, but it worked for my system. Overall, I 110% agree that the key is making sure that the tank stays organically okay. I don't know that was well said, but water changes are the best way to do that. Yeah, I'm just trying to also add things that have helped me along the way, because I'm lazy, and I still do water changes. Don't get me wrong. There's no tank that you can set up and leave.
Just let it go.
I can't even think of that. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. You always have to do, and I'm even not suggesting that you can do fewer water changes because you've added Purigen. I'm merely stating that.
But it might save you, maybe, if you miss a couple days because of a rough work schedule. It could make a difference. Is that what you're trying to say? That kind of situation?
Or even maybe you're not doing enough water changes to begin with. And so the added equipment, the added things like Purigen are saving you, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Which isn't a good thing. More water changes,
well, it is a good thing, but it's not.
Yeah. As with everything. I know. Listen, I'm a professional expert.
I know what you're saying.
Let me give you the bottom line so you can take it to the bank. No, guys, all I can share is my experiences, right? That's all we all share. That's why I like when people question in both good and bad ways, and we can discuss it, because like Ray said, it completely depends on your system. Like, if someone watches this and says, oh, Purigen's the answer, and thinks they don't have to do water changes, or that will compensate for a skimmer or whatever, I don't agree with that for sure. I just personally like the product. It's helped my tanks in many ways, but it's not like I'm saying you have to have it for your tank, or that I like the way she said it too.
It's just another tool. Yeah.
You
have many.
Yes.
But it's a good one.
And I like that tool, but your system might not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, or you might.
All I can say is, with 7 individual Seahorse systems on the go. I can't say that any two were the same, although there might have been a couple that were close in what I had to do with each one. And these were basically 4 of them were all the same size. The others obviously would be different because of the different capacity, but the 4 that were the same size were stocked the same as well. The larger tanks were not stocked the same, so again, that wasn't a fair comparison to use. But even with the same size tank, same thought process in how to set it up, the same number of seahorses in it. Actually, there were the same species too on those 4, and yet they were different. And part of it was because the seahorses in them were not, they wouldn't feed the same as ones in the other tanks. Some of them ate more, some ate less, which means that I had to adjust my protocols and what I was doing to keep things at a healthy situation. And with those,
was this all from like a batch that you raised?
With those ones, no, the 4 at that specific time. I'd had other species in those tanks, but this is when I got the barbs out of Australia.
Okay.
I had 8 barbs, and I split them up in these 40-gallon tanks, 2 to a tank.
Gotcha.
So
my seahorses are all different, so it makes sense. Some eat more than others, and I have ones that don't want to eat breakfast. They're still waking up, but they chow down at lunch. And all my fish are kind of like that, actually. My goby doesn't eat in the morning at all. He only comes out in the afternoon.
But I had 2 tanks, for instance, that I couldn't see. I wasn't aware of a difference in the feeding of the total 4 seahorses in those 2 tanks. But I had to treat them different because I found the one tank that when I was feeding these the same, the one tank started giving me problems with bacterial infections. And the only thing I could do for it then was upgrade my cleaning, upgrade my water changes, until I didn't have that problem anymore with it. And yet I didn't perceive a difference in the amount of food that I was putting into that tank.
So, and when you're talking about the comparison of these 2 tanks, was everything identical? Because I'm just sitting here thinking about what you're saying. And yes, I agree that seahorses are different.
Well, the hitching was all
eat differently and all that. But hang on, the question is, because oftentimes it boils down to a particular piece of rock or a particular thing that you've added to the tank that has nothing to do with them.
Well, I wouldn't be adding something to a tank because that wasn't me. I'm a simplistic person. And
the setup.
Operation.
So did they have any rock or anything?
Well, they have rock, obviously, because rock's all I use for biological filtration.
Right.
So, and they can't use the same piece, but the rock all came out of Florida when I bought it back in '92. And so it's all sourced from the same place. Now there's different densities and so on.
Yeah, we're going to get into the nitty gritty if we go too far, because that is it. Some of them will store, have phosphates that they release and be more porous and all that. And I'm not arguing. I'm just making yet another point that
the rocks can be different, just like
everything I've had was from back '92 and so on, and it's all been treated the same. So what's in one seahorse tank has been looked after exactly the same, and usually it come out of the same reef tank. So the odds of something being really different on one piece of rock or another.
I disagree with that. Sorry, 110%. Here's the reason. in my reef tank, I had a phosphate problem. I couldn't figure it out. I had multiple people helping me. Cruz Arias helped me. He had me doing all these different ideas, and I won't go through it all. I won't ramble for once. But the bottom line is, I
It
finally
was a
figured out
rock.
it was one rock. I don't know why. I can't explain it.
The chemical
It had been
composition of
treated the
that
same.
rock was
I had
different.
had all that rock for a year,
Mhm.
but this one rock, for some reason, was releasing phosphates
Mhm.
and just wreaking havoc. I removed the rock, never had a problem again. So I'm not saying that's the case.
But
I'm
it could
saying you did a
be.
very good comparison. But if you're not having a bare bottom, nothing in it tank to do an experiment, you can't take out that possible qualifier.
Well,
Well,
that rock
because
I
they're
used
biological.
for 10 years before I got Seahorses.
I get that.
So
I get that, but that doesn't mean that one rock in your tank wasn't the one releasing phosphates or whatnot
but the
when the
thing is,
rest
it
were
would,
not.
if it was releasing it, once I put it in a Seahorse tank, it was releasing it when I had it in the reef tank.
Yes.
And it
And
didn't give me a problem in a reef tank
Nope.
for 10
Because
years.
you had a reef tank with a bunch of rocks and one that was a problem. I'm not saying this to you. I'm not saying it's true. I'm merely stating that your experiment is a little bit flawed in the fact that it could have been a rock.
Yeah, it's not
That
like a
you wouldn't have
double-blind
noticed in a reef
experiment where everything
it's exact, yeah.
is really
Yeah.
controlled. But
Well, rocks are
it's all-
biological. They're not exactly alike, even if they're the same type of rock.
But I want to back up and say, Ray, I think you're coming the closest to giving us answers because at least you're doing things that can compare. So I'm not disagreeing with you that all seahorses are different and all that.
see, the other
I
thing
just
too,
know
I
that
don't even know that these Seahorses all came from the same batch
right,
because
right.
Seahorse, well, that was where yeah,
You thinking of a name?
yeah, from Seahorses in Australia.
Oh, the Seahorse
Seahorse
Australia?
World?
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
so
worked
yeah,
there?
it could have been
Who worked there?
different batches. And here's the thing. We as hobbyists, and Ray's beyond a hobbyist, right? He's done way beyond what most of us have done. He's more closer to a commercial breeder like Dan. But at the same token, even Dan, Dan would use tubs and could give a little better comparison because he had pure systems that were identical in every way and had nothing but artificial, right? But that's really hard to do on a hobbyist level.
Mhm.
And the thing is, anything we do as hobbyists, no one's gonna, be like, oh, that's the answer, because we can't make perfect comparisons,
Dan
right?
didn't have any display tanks. That's why.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. He did all, completely artificial tubs. And
Mhm.
so he was able to say, this is an exact comparison because I have seahorses that I bred from the same batches
Mhm.
that, have nothing in them but the exact same things. And you can't include rock, was my only point, because rock is
Can be
different
different.
and
Mhm.
can be different. Yeah, that's all I was saying. But I still think your comparison was good in that seahorses are different too.
Mhm.
And you don't know if they're from the same batch. And you don't know, guys, I
But it
love
could
when we
be from the
talk
same
about
batch and
trying to
still have
figure this
differences.
stuff out.
Well,
But it's
yeah, all my
almost like
seahorses have had
impossible.
differences. So,
Yeah.
I come from a family of 7 kids, and no 2 of us were the same, and that
Mhm.
includes the 2 pairs of twins.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And I have fraternal twins that are absolutely opposites. And were not from the same egg, but they were from the same womb. So, I'm just saying I love when we discuss these things because it gives people things to think about, right? And just things to consider. And what was the original point of this conversation? Because I lost it. Ray, you were saying that you had these 2 tanks.
It was taking care of different tanks, like what they require can be different.
Water
even
We're
if
commenting on Tara's post that she put on about the Purigen was a tool.
Mhm.
Yes.
So we were basically commenting on that, and it just spread.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That's the
Hey,
way
we love to
progress
chat,
is
guys.
made.
It turned into Ray was saying that he had 4 tanks that were almost exactly alike, but he had to have different protocols for
Yep.
them because they were different, even though they were so much alike. They required
So,
different
and
care.
I have literally changed my answer. If anybody asked me today, what's the key to keeping seahorses? I don't think I'd say, oh, you got to set up the tank. You got to buy all this equipment. You
Mhm.
got to do this, that, and the other. I think my answer would be you have to be smart about setting up. That is part of it. I'm
Yeah.
not taking that back. But then be extremely observant
Mhm.
Yes.
because these seahorses will tell you when something's wrong. You're going to notice once you get to know them.
Mhm.
And you need to listen to, like this channel and other really good seahorse, archives that will tell you how to set up properly. That's still a big part of it. I'm not taking that back. But it's also, once you get them, it's observing them. One of my videos, and all my videos are old, guys. I'm not saying they're great,
Mhm.
but I still stand by what they say. And like one of them was the 3 ways to figure out what to do when seahorses aren't eating, right? When you get them and they won't eat. And I give tips and tricks and how to do it. But I mean, it's literally like, I don't know. I'm kind of spinning around in my mind when I'm trying to say, Holly, bring me back to earth.
You lost me.
Oh,
You
sorry.
lost me out there spinning.
Okay,
Was
sorry.
trying to
I'm
get
just thinking about
seahorses
so
to eat.
many.
I don't know where you were going with that.
Yeah, I don't know either now. I did lose it. But it's just that, there is no perfect way to set up. And I think it's so important to figure out your seahorses. And one of the ways you do that is observing. That's where I was going with it, I guess. Is just that tips and tricks video, it was about when you first get your seahorses,
Mhm.
you're not going to be able to throw food in the tank and they're going to gobble it down. Or maybe they will.
Yeah,
Right? Every
some do.
situation's different.
Some do.
But if they don't, you don't freak out, you observe.
Mhm.
And in my video I show like, okay, try this and see what happens. Try this and see what
Mhm.
happens. And none of it's risky because you're trying these things. You're making food that
Mhm.
you're making sure the food's removed. I didn't mean to go into food. That's a whole other thing. But I just meant the observation
Yeah.
of seahorses is crucial, right? Because once you know them,
Yeah.
Holly knows, okay, he's done with his
And
last meal.
part of
right?
that, yeah, with the feeding, like you're talking about, is some seahorses are going to be really shy and some are going to be really bold.
Yes.
And the really bold ones, they might eat right away. And you might have one shy one that kind of hides in the corner and observes everyone else for a while until she
Yep.
decides to come out and get some food once she's trusted that everybody else has figured out it's safe.
Yes,
So
and
they have
and you
their own
shouldn't freak out
personality.
and think
Yeah.
there's something wrong. Right,
Mhm.
exactly. I totally agree. When I got my piebalds, that was it. That's the piebalds are the ones in the video that I'm talking about.
Mhm.
It's tips and tricks,
Mhm.
something or other. But anyways, they're both like wide-eyed and like,
Mhm.
who's this? What's this? And I talk about stepping away from the tank
Mhm.
and different things you can do to get them eating. But even in the video, one of them's like, all right, I'm gonna try this.
Mhm.
And gobbling down. And the other one was standoffish for weeks.
Mhm.
I mean, weeks.
Mhm.
Like just still would not come
I
eat
don't
if I was
trust that.
present. And
I
yeah,
don't trust that lady.
yeah, she looks funky. Look at that hair. So I'm just saying, I don't even know again what my original point was, but overall it's observation. If you figure out your seahorses, you're going to know when there's a problem. That will help you. Again, backing up, again, I ramble a bit, but we need to set up properly. It's great questions asking about things like Purigen, K1, skimmers, because they're needed, at least some of them, on a seahorse tank. If you can't afford all of them, you can still do a tank. You just have to do more water changes, like Tara was saying. And as long as you're doing that work and making sure they have what they need, things will work out, especially once you get to know them and figure out their habits and behaviors, because then you're going to know instantly when there's a problem. And don't be like me and freak out every time you think there's a problem. Like we just said, there's not always a problem. You got to get to know them. But once you know them, you're going to know, hey, maybe I'm not doing enough water changes. They're looking a little peakish, or they're looking a little thin, or maybe I'm not feeding enough because this, that, and the other. They're not hard. They're very, once they do get to know you, they'll tell you all their feelings. You'll see it in their color changes. You'll see it in their weight. You'll see it in their habits and behaviors. They tell you when something's wrong, was my only point. And I was off on a tangent, though. All right. Back to reality. Random seahorse tangents are the best. Thank you, Zen, right?
That's why we miss you so much, Kelly, because we run out of stuff to say.
And I could just ramble all night, right? I know.
Well, that's how we come up with stuff to talk about, though. Yeah, when you're not here, we all have a hard time coming up with what we're going to talk about.
I told them last week that we needed you here to be able to have someone here that can fill in those gaps that we have.
Yes, and I get it. And Sophie will get better at it. I promise you. She's just, listen, when I first started this channel, oh my God, don't even go back and watch the first episodes. They were so bad because I was like talking to myself and I was like, you know, she's getting better and better, and she's going to get better at being like, okay, there's a pause. I'm going to ramble about something.
You can jump in there with something that's applicable to what we were talking that the rest of us wouldn't think about, or if need be, come up with another topic that's important to, and it would fit in with what, you know, the whole evening has been about.
That makes my heart feel so good because I want to feel like I'm helping.
Well, none of us have that capability
all the time, guys. But I do want to say, Ray, it does suck because I don't have cognitive impairment and I still lose my way through the thought halfway. I'm like, Holly, what the hell was I talking about?
Wait till you get to the 82.
It makes it fun, I guess, right? Because we're all friends. And I appreciate that you guys are all still coming and hanging out. I still love this channel. I will be here. It's just been a bad couple of weeks. But I know I always say that. It's been a bad year.
You got a lot on your plate. Yeah, you took on the new management position, and that's a lot. It's a lot.
But I just never want you guys to think that I don't care about this channel or you guys or the seahorses or, you know, hanging out, because I love this. This is so much fun for me.
Well,
but speaking of which,
my pain tolerance is at the limit that I want to tolerate right now. So I'd like to call it an evening.
Ray, I appreciate you being here. Have a good night.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you on the side, find out how you're doing. But have a good night.
Yeah.
Take care.
Hope you feel better, Ray. Bye-bye.
And actually, guys, I was actually going to say, as much as I love you, I got to be back up and at work at 4 a.m. So I was going to cut it short, which short, we go for an hour and a half, right? But I was going to go ahead and call it by 9:30, which is in 7 minutes. So if anybody has a question, ask it. And I will be back involved in trying to pep it up and make it funner. And Sophie's doing so many things on media to try to, you know, pep it up. So, you know, don't give up on us. I'm still here. And tell your friends and anybody who's wanting to keep seahorses to come. Because, again, the reason that someone like Sophie struggles is because she can't ramble endlessly like I can because I'm crazy. But also, if people were here asking questions, she could answer them, or, you know, get Holly and Ray to answer them. Ray can answer any question. He isn't always right, but he can answer any question. So just, you know, don't stop telling people to come. And we are still going to try to grow and do things with the channel. I just got to get back involved to help Sophie, so she can do the fun young stuff and I can do the, you know, old lady rambling stuff. But we'll get there. Don't give up on us. Hope you still have your Seahorse shirts. I didn't even wear mine tonight.
I didn't either.
I
I'm
know
in
where
my
it is.
pajamas.
I know. We're so old.
I need a
I should say I'm
sweatshirt.
so
It's
old.
winter now. The short sleeve shirt is too cold
Right,
to wear.
right. I got to get us some sweatshirts. We'll work on sweatshirts. But for tonight, guys, we're going to call it. But we will be back next week. I will be here. Sorry I missed a few weeks, but I will be back. If there's anybody who wants to come on and talk, we're here. Message me or Sophie or Holly or anybody. And otherwise, you know, we'll have fun and ramble all night and I'll drink wine. But we will be back next week. So have a great week and we'll see you next Wednesday. Happy Wine Wednesday.